Good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us on the news at this hour. I am Richard Ali Chinwanyebe. The headlines. Vice President Kashim Shettima says Nigeria is committed to deepening ties with Poland. APC presidential primary kicks off today. SCSF, CIPM reaffirm commitments to modernizing Nigeria's public service. News in detail. Vice President Senator Kashim Shettima says under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, Nigeria is committed for business and is ready for business and committed to deepening ties with the Republic of Poland in different sectors of the economy. This, he said, can be done in the areas of defense cooperation, digital economy, agriculture, and other sectors where Poland has shown remarkable comparative advantage, noting that there is room for improved relations between the two countries. He stated this during a courtesy visit by the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Digital Affairs of the Republic of Poland, Dr. Krzysztof Gawkowski, to the presidential villa in Abuja. The Vice President told the Polish envoy that Nigeria is open for business, saying since assumption of office over 2 years ago, President Bola Tinubu has unlocked the full potentials of the Nigerian economy. Speaking further about the potentials for partnership with Poland, VP Shettima maintained that the country is an industrial leader in many areas of the economy, including shipbuilding, maritime economy, defense industries, digital economy, and several other areas. Lauding the country's positive development journey, the Vice President described Poland as one of the most progressive and strategic nations in Europe, promising improved cooperation with the government and the people of Nigeria. The Deputy Prime Minister of Poland, Dr. Gawkowski, said over the years, Nigeria has remained Poland's most strategic partner in Africa. He expressed optimism that the visit will signal new momentum for cooperation in the areas of the economy, innovation, and digitization. The National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Professor Mentau Iyelwada, is currently in his hometown, Dongong Kanke local government area of Plateau State, where he is participating in today's APC presidential direct primary elections. The APC is conducting its presidential direct primaries across all 8,809 wards nationwide, with registered party members voting to elect the party's presidential candidate for the 2027 general elections. Senator Ahmed Wadada, representing Nasarawa West Senatorial District, has emerged winner of the All Progressives Congress APC governorship primary election in Nasarawa State. Chairman of the APC governorship primary election committee in the state, Professor Theodore Meyaki, announced the result on Friday in Lafia. Meyaki said Wadada secured the highest number of valid votes cast by party members across the 147 electoral wards in the 13 local government areas of the state, defeating 6 other aspirants in the contest. According to him, Wadada polled 195,285 votes to clinch the party's governorship ticket for the 2027 election. He gave the breakdown of votes scored by other aspirants as follows: Tanimu Adapsin, 65 votes; Dr. Fatima Abdullahi Adamu, 246 votes; Dr. Hassan Liman, 863 votes; and Dr. Zaka Yakubu, 336 votes. Others are Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna, who polled 5,844 votes, and former Inspector General of Police Muhammad Adamu, who secured 39,675 votes. Miyaki said the committee monitored the accreditation process and ensured transparency in the collection of results. He added that having certified the requirements of the APC constitution and electoral guidelines, Wadada was duly declared winner and returned elected as the party's governorship candidate for the 2027 general elections in the state. Similarly, the governor of Taraba State, Kefas Abu, has been declared the winner of the All Progressives Congress APC governorship primary election held in the state. Kefas secured 166,357 votes to defeat his rival Muazu Jaji, the former Minister of State for Transport, who polled 4,110 votes. Reacting to his victory, Kefas Abu appreciated Taraba residents and accepted the confidence and trust reposed in him and the shared vision for a prosperous state. He says that the task remains to build a stronger party and provide leadership with fairness to move Taraba forward and protects the hope of the people. Kefas said the time for contest is over and it is time for unity and collective action as the task ahead is bigger. The governor appreciated the party leadership at all levels for their support and the good people of the state. The Nigerian Union of Teachers, FCT, NUT, I take that again. The Nigerian Union of Teachers, FCT wing, has expressed deep concern over the federal government's recent decision to waive the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination requirement for admission into colleges of education, warning that the policy could threaten the quality of teaching and education in Nigeria. State Chairman of NUT FCT wing, Comrade Abdullahi Muhammad Shafa, raised the concern while addressing journalists in his office at the Teachers' House in Gogora. Our correspondent Abdullahi Mukhtar reports.
Comrade Abdullahi Muhammad Shafat said although the union's support effort aimed at expanding access to teacher education, removing UTME as an entry requirement will undermine the quality of teachers and by extension the standard of education in the country. Shafat said the union identifies several concerns arising from the policy, including erosion of academic standard, lowered entry threshold, weakened subject mastery, and compromising effectiveness among prospective teachers.
Teachers has invested years in repositioning teaching as a professional regulated career through TRCN, licensing, and standards. Waiving UTME contradicts this trajectory and weakens the credibility of a qualified teacher. We respectfully request that the Federal Ministry of Education, 1, suspend the implementation of UTME waiver for colleges of education pending comprehensive stakeholders review.
The union noted that candidates admitted without adequate academic preparation may struggle to develop the subject mastery and cognitive abilities required for effective classroom teaching at both the basic and secondary education levels.
Teachers who enter training with weak foundation knowledge are less likely to develop the deep subject mastery required to teach effectively at the basic and the secondary level. Compromised pedagogical effectiveness. Teaching requires both content knowledge and cognitive agility. UTME serves as a filter for the analytical and problem-solving skills that underpins effective classroom delivery.
NUT FCT wing further warned that the policy could diminish public confidence in the teaching profession and reinforce the perception of teaching as a second-choice career for low-performing candidates.
When entry requirements are relaxed relative to other tertiary pathways, teaching is further stigmatized as a fallback option for low-performing candidates. This discourages high-achieving students from joining the profession.
Comrade Shafa stressed that the future of Nigeria depends on the quality of teachers in classrooms, urging the federal government to reconsider the policy in order to protect the integrity of teacher education and guarantee quality instruction for every Nigerian child. Abdullahi Mukhtar, ASO Television News.
The chairman-elect of Kuje Area Council, Honorable Danjuma Samuel Shokolo, has inaugurated a Transition Implementation Committee as part of preparations for the smooth takeover of administration in the council. Speaking during the maiden meeting of the committee in Kuje, Honorable Shokolo said the inauguration marked another milestone in the transition process towards a new democratically elected government in the area council. Our correspondent again, Abdullah Mukhtar, tells us more.
Honorable Samuel Shekolo explained that the committee, including the inauguration committee, was constituted to ensure a seamless handover from the outgoing administration and to lay the foundation for progress and prosperity in Kuje Area Council. The Kuje chairman-elect recalled that after securing victory at the polls, he immediately began consultation with stakeholders and members of the All Progressive Congress APC to strengthen unity and prepare for effective governance.
As I've always said, the task ahead belongs to all of us, based on our shared vision and mission. I strongly believe that together we will work to rebuild and reposition Kuje for progress, being our collective dream.
Shekoile outlined the committee's terms of reference to include liaising with the outgoing administration for a smooth handover, receiving and verifying official documents, and preparing briefings reports on the financial and administrative status of the council and the local education authority LEA.
With emphasis on 1. The status of assets and liabilities of Kuje Area Council and LEA. 2. The cash flow position of Kuje Area Council and that of the LEA. 3. Debt profile and their deployment. 4. Outstanding contractual obligation and ability of the Area Council to meet such obligations.
Alhaji Ibrahim Sabo, a retired director with the Federal Capital Territory Administration, is the chairman of both the Transition and Inauguration Committee. He assured that better days await the people of the council under Shekola's administration. Also speaking, Alhaji Abdullahi Suleiman Sabo, Senior Chief of Staff to the Kuje Area Council Chairman, who spoke on behalf of the council administration, said Kuje belongs to everyone and assured that the outgoing administration will ensure a smooth transition, stressing that it has nothing to hide from the incoming administration.
As chairman of the Transition Committee, I pledge to work closely with all members of the committee and every stakeholders to develop practical recommendations that will lay a solid foundation for progress.
The outgoing administration has nothing to hide to the incoming administration. We are all partners in progress who are out to see the development of Kuje Area Council.
At the occasion, the Action Committee, inaugurated about 2 months ago under the chairmanship of Professor Abdullahi Mohammed Ibuti, Vice Chancellor of Leadership University, presented its report to the chairman-elect, who promised to make judicial use of the document. Highlight of the event was the formal inauguration of the two committees, which were given 21 days to submit their reports. Later, the chairman-elect went into a closed-door meeting with members of the newly inaugurated committees. Abdullahi Mukhtar, ASO Television News.
You are watching ASO Television News. Don't forget that you can watch us live on DSTV channel 390, Startimes TV channel 127, and on Free TV, look us up on channel 507. On the UH band, you can find us on channel 48. Now, still to come. HCSF, CIPM reaffirm commitments to modernizing Nigeria's public service. We'll be right back.
Stand up slowly.
Wura Adeleke, abducted my friend Tununu.
Rest in peace, Tununu.
Man from skin.
I will break this for you. Talk now.
The patient is having intraoperative seizure. I'm sorry, but she's gone.
To Koinsola Adeleke, the new CEO, Frontline Gold Line.
Glad to have you back. Now let's move ahead with the rest of the bulletin. The Gombe-led faction of the Social Democratic Party, the SDP, said the Apex Court decision has effectively strengthened the authority of the party's leadership and wiped away what it called misleading interpretations being circulated about the case. Here is the report.
Speaking to the newsman, Professor Gombe said the ruling has also removed the legal weight behind the earlier Court of Appeal's pronouncement relating to the party's internal crisis and leadership dispute. The party insisted that the judgment has settled the question of who controls the party's affairs, arguing that no individual can override party organs or their constitutional powers.
And severally, the Supreme Court, in its wisdom, has categorically said severally that political party as an institution are the body corporate that are responsible for their internal affairs, and whatever they decide in respect of their internal affairs is binding. No INEC, no even the court in itself has the jurisdiction to delve into the internal affairs of political parties.
According to the party, due process was followed before Gebam was removed, including suspension, investigation, and an opportunity to defend himself, which it claims he failed to take. Party officials says the National Executive Committee ratified the expulsion after Gebam did not appear before the disciplinary panel and also failed to file an appeal within the required period.
The same NWC expelled this man. We are talking about an institution. You are always referring back to an individual. How can we move forward in this country? Please, with due respect, we need to always be responsible to our duties. This is one single man. If you are there at the International Conference Center and saw the number of police, you will think it's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is coming there for a function. Of course, our duty is only to give INEC notice. We cannot force INEC to go. Before the amendment of the 2026 Electoral Act, INEC may or may not attend a convention. But the 2026 Electoral Act as amended say INEC shall.
Other party leaders, including Agunloye and Senator Ugochukwu Uba, hailed the ruling as a reaffirmation of institutional discipline and internal democracy within political parties. Senator Ugochukwu Uba also welcomed the ruling, describing it as a victory for institutional democracy within political parties.
I himself said, I was not aware, no correspondence, no document before me that Shehu Gebam was suspended or dismissed or expelled or removed. And the directors were looking. And we showed them in document samples of letters acknowledged by DC, replies of people INEC, but somebody in INEC actually chose to hide those fights from a new chairman who just came.
Oluchi Jacinta Okore, ASO Television News.
The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority has awarded aviation security authorization certificates to 6 institutions and service providers. The move is part of efforts to boost security standards and regulatory compliance across the country's aviation sector. Speaking at the presentation ceremony in Lagos, the Director General of Civil Aviation, Captain Chris Najomo, emphasized that certification is mandatory for all AVSEC operations. Represented by the Director of Aviation Security Regulations, Dr. Bernard Omogo, he stressed that approvals are strictly based on meeting regulatory standards. Notably, the NCAA has extended the validity of these certifications from 2 to 3 years for the first time. The new certified providers include the Fan Aviation Training School, Macon Security, Safety Signatures, Generic Security, and Vani Security. Representatives of the certified firms thanked the NCAA and pledged total compliance with global best practices. Now, the Federal Road Safety Corps, Osun State Sector Command, has deployed 555 personnel for special patrol during the Eid el-Kabir celebrations in the state. The Osun State Sector Commander, Mr. Sunday Adebayo, made the disclosure in a statement issued by the Sector Public Education Officer, Mrs. Agnes Ogunbemi, on Saturday in Osogbo. Adebayo said the week-long operation would commence from 25th to 31st of May across the state to prevent road accidents and ensure free flow of traffic during the festive period. He enjoined road users to adhere strictly to road safety guidelines to avoid being sanctioned for wrongful or dangerous driving. According to him, 3 ambulances, 2 roadside clinics, 1 tow truck and 15 patrol vehicles will be deployed for the exercise. The Kebbi State Police Command has arrested 5 suspected members of a robbery and abduction syndicate allegedly linked to a series of one-chance operations along major highways in the state. The arrests were announced in a statement issued by the Police Public Relations Officer SP Bashir Usman, who said the suspects were apprehended during coordinated operations conducted in Brenin Kebbi, Kalgo, Jega, Meyama, and Alero local government areas. The suspects were identified as Abubakar Muhammad of Bencho village in Tambuwal, Shehu Ango, Samsu Daudu, Shaibu Umar, and Aisha Usmanu. According to police investigations, the group allegedly posed as commercial vehicle operators to lure unsuspecting passengers before robbing them at knife point and abandoning them in isolated locations. The command disclosed that in one of the incidents, the suspect allegedly withdrew over 1 million naira from a victim's bank account and later demanded ransom from the victims' relatives before securing the victims' release. Police also linked the suspect to another incident reported on 30th of April 2026 along Tashar Hawa on the Jega-Kalgo Road, where the syndicate allegedly robbed a female passenger identified as Samsia Samaila of her Infinix Android mobile phone, power bank, charger, and ATM card. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, heads of service from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, and the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, CIPM, have reaffirmed their commitments to transforming Nigeria's public service through stronger collaboration, professionalism, innovation, and institutional reforms. The commitment was reinforced during a high-level dinner organized by the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria in honor of the HCSF State Heads of Service, Permanent Secretaries, and delegates attending the 2026 International Civil Service Conference in Abuja. Speaking at the event, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Esther Walsinjak, emphasized the need for participants to translate conversations and ideas from the conference into practical reforms across government institutions. She described the dinner as more than a social gathering, noting that it provided an opportunity for collaboration, reflection, and relationship building among key public sector leaders. Mrs. Walsinjak also commended the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria for its continued support for professionalism, capacity development, and institutional reforms within the Nigerian public service. In his goodwill message, the President and Chairman of the Governing Council of CIPM, Malam Ahmed Ladan Gobe, described the recognition recently granted to CIPM certification within the Federal Civil Service as a landmark development for the HR profession in Nigeria. Now, as part of its mandate to protecting consumers' rights by stemming down exploitative practices in the real estate sector against consumers, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has sealed the offices of 2 estate development companies in the FCT over non-compliance with regulatory directives relating to unresolved consumer complaints. The FCCPC Deputy Director, Surveillance and Investigations Unit, Mr. Marvin Nada, led the enforcement operation, noting that the offices would remain closed until the companies fully comply with the Commission's orders. Here is the report as presented from our studios.
The FCCPC enforcement team, led by its Deputy Director, Surveillance and Investigations Units, Mr. Marvin Nada, commenced the seal-up exercise at Ochacho Group Worldwide, owners of Ochacho Ray Homes, over non-compliance with regulatory directives relating to unresolved consumer complaints, including the non-delivery of properties after payments.
We had requested, we had directed certain actions to be taken to provide redress to consumer complaints that were before us. That's in line with our law, provided in section 154 of the Act. However, these entities did not comply, and as a result of non-compliance, we have sealed the business premises.
The team thereafter proceeded to T Billion Construction, which also defaulted in providing redress to consumers who complained about failed transactions despite earlier directives issued by the Commission.
Basically, consumers had paid for properties that were not delivered in one case, and in another case there was a situation where we had, after reviewing the matter, had requested and ordered the entity, that's the company here, to make a refund to the consumer. That was not carried out.
Mr. Nada further explained that compliance notices were issued to the companies as far back as June 2025, instructing them to take corrective actions in line with Section 154 of the FCCPC Act.
Consumers should read the small print. They should read everything as has been offered and provided for. If they are not sure, they should get advice and be advised before going into businesses. However, our duty, our mandate remains to protect the interests and promote the interests of consumers, and we'll continue to do that.
Now, the federal government has extended condolences to the government and people of the Democratic Republic of Congo following the deadly Ebola outbreak that has claimed more than 130 lives and infected over 500 people. In a statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja, the federal government expressed sadness over the devastating impact of the epidemic on affected families and communities. Nigeria also commended health workers, humanitarian personnel, and international partners for efforts to contain the disease. The ministry reaffirmed Nigeria's commitments to regional and international cooperation in tackling infectious diseases across Africa. It added that recurring Ebola outbreaks highlights the urgent need for stronger healthcare systems, improved disease surveillance, and emergency preparedness on the continent. Nigeria also prayed for the peaceful repose of the victims, a speedy recovery for those infected, and strength for the bereaved. And that does it all on the news. But before we go, let's take a look at one of our major stories again. We told you that the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, Professor Nantawe Yelwada, is currently in his hometown, Kanke local government area of Plateau State, where he is participating in today's APC presidential direct primary elections. That's the news. I am Richard Alechinoyebe. Many thanks for watching.